The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you for joining us today. Once again, tremendous content on the show. As always, we bring tremendous guests. That's why it happens that way. That's right. And I want to remind you right up front, this is show number 412. If you want to see, yes, and hear any of the shows, simply go to Stewart.com/radio. That's where you can see and hear the shows. This one, once it's posted, but also all the other shows are right there at Stewart.com/radio. And today, not really by design, it's kind of interesting. We have three real estate professionals right here in Houston, Texas, as they say, the fourth largest city, soon to be the third. They're even saying that. But three great real estate professionals. And the interesting thing is they all do different things, like, I suppose, realtors all over the United States. What they do is they connect to the community in three unique ways. How about that? And some shows would stop there. But no, in addition, we have a super insurance segment with John Bramlett later in the show. So let's get down to business as Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title begins right now with our first guest. She is Joey Morley with Meadows Property Group. Joey, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me back. It's great to be here today.
Connecting with the community and so much more.
Yes. I mean, that's what we do in real estate. Connections.
That's a good word right there. That's my word for the year as of right now. Connections. Mm-hmm. So in the meantime, Joey, let's tell people your company is called Meadows Property Group. Let's tell people about your company.
Yes. So Meadows Property Group is a brokerage, kind of a boutique brokerage focusing on the Memorial area of town, although we do business all over, wherever the business takes us and our clients. But our focus is really Memorial.
In fact, I'm going to guess that's kind of the community you're connecting to in a way. Before we get to that, though, also you brought your daughter here today. You're the only person in the studio that has an assistant. That's pretty awesome right there.
I do have my assistant, my trusty assistant today.
Let's tell people about her. She's waving at us, and
Julia,
she's right here.
Yeah, Julia is my daughter. She is a freshman this year at Stratford High School. And Stratford is one of the main areas that I focus my support in the community. I donate routinely for support of the orchestra. I have my two sons are both in the orchestra. And then I also support the theater. I also sponsor the Wilchester Elementary School Carnival and Auction, which is their biggest fundraiser of the year for the elementary schools. So I just really trying to find ways that I can give added support to the community through my business.
And actually, I mean, when we hear about great schools in the Houston area, and even as the city is expanding, that's one of the great schools in our system.
It is. And schools, as we all know as realtors, are often a big driving force in selling a home. So when you have homes zoned to good schools, it's a lot easier to sell that home and resell it, even whether or not you have kids in that school or not.
And not only that, it is legendary that many people that are school teachers, male and female alike, end up being realtors, and that's a whole nother show in itself.
Yes.
As your company, how your company approaches and how you approach the market in terms of, is it by geography, as you're in the Memorial area, or let's give us an idea how that works for you.
Yes. So I do focus on the Memorial area, like I said, and I have something that I do that I try to connect with people on a weekly basis. It's my email campaign that I do. It's a little newsletter I put out every single week. It's called the Friday Five. And in that newsletter...
What day does it come out on?
It comes out every Friday. Yeah. And
Right.
It's on my social media, but I also direct email it to people who subscribe. And what I do in that is I try to kind of intersperse both real estate information, market updates, and things like that that are sometimes hyper-local and focused on the Memorial area. But then I also put in some fun stuff like, New Year's, we did an email about all the foods that you're supposed to make on New Year's Day that were going to bring you good luck and fortune in the new year. So just a little mix of everything into that newsletter, and people seem to enjoy it. So
I enjoy it because I get it on Friday. And the interesting thing, as you know, that's when I send out my YouTube video every Friday. So when I check and I send mine out about 5 a.m.
Yes.
So when I check for mine, then I see yours. So those are two great things. By the way, if you're out there listening and you want to check those things out, people could, how would they get your newsletter?
Yes, so there's a few ways to get it. Like I said, they can go on, follow me on any of my social media platforms. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. But a real easy way to do it is to go to my website, which is www.joimorley, which is joeymorley.com. And there's a little button right at the top that says Get My Newsletter.
And once again, Joey, it's uniquely spelled as J-O-I.
Yes.
And that makes actually more sense than the other way. I'm just saying my opinion. So as far as the market, let's touch upon the market. How is the market? It's just raging, isn't it?
You know, last year was
down?
my busiest year yet in real estate. And I think I've spoken to a lot of my coworkers, and it's been similar for them. As you know, my sister's a lender. She also had an extremely busy year. So last year was really, we thought 2020 was blowing it out of the water. Then 2021 took it to the next level. I think what they're predicting for this year is we're going to have still a shortage. We still have a shortage in inventory, so there's still going to be a lot of demand. But mortgage rates are starting to tick up a little bit, so it's going to kind of cool it off slightly. But it's still busy. It's already busy for me this year.
We might as well say hello to your sister, Elizabeth,
yes.
Right?
Hi, Elizabeth. Yes. My sister's a lender with First United Bank, and we work together quite often on a lot of deals. So it's a lot of fun.
Elizabeth, let's talk about that community. First of all, your newsletter, when did you first start that, and what was your inspiration?
It's probably been about 3 or 4 years since I've been doing the Friday Five.
Works pretty good, doesn't it?
It does. And, you know, I have one of those, like mine, I chose MailChimp, so I do it on MailChimp every week. A lot of my coworkers do one with me, but ours is each different in a little way. And it just allows us to connect every week. Like we said, we started the show talking about connections. This is a way for us to stay connected with our audience every week. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It also allows me to promote some of my listings that I have, open houses that I have. So I do try to include that and just reach a broad audience with the products that I'm selling, my houses and things.
And as we're talking about connecting to the community, yours, it sounds like what you're doing, Joey, is through the school as a parent with several children.
Yes.
And the music connection. I guess it helps as you're out there at these events and the musical things. People say, oh, well, I guess people say it all the time in any crowd. What do you do? Right?
Yes.
And you get to say, well, I'm a real estate professional.
Right. And actually, I was just at a meeting last week, and one of my neighbors turned around and said, oh, by the way, I love your Friday Five.
That's even, now you know they're listening.
Exactly. And so that's the whole thing. And I absolutely love that. Also, my brokerage loves to support the community. My brokerage is owned by Meadows. So she's a women-owned business. I'm a woman-owned business. I'm Joey Morley, Inc. I tell people I run my own business. I pay for my own marketing. I do all of that. And then I love to support women-owned businesses. So when possible, I use female photographers. I have a great female photographer that I use. I have some female stagers that I use. I also have a female lender that I love to use. So when I can do that, I also try to support female-owned businesses. I mean, I support a lot of local businesses, but that's my focus as well. So,
and certainly like any real estate professional, you have to have so many tools in your tool belt to serve buyers and sellers all over Houston.
A lot of referrals, yes.
That's very important.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, it sounds like in your connection with the community, you find out kind of the trends and what's going on, and especially as it relates to school, you're finding out what's going on at different age levels. I mean, how old is your daughter that's sitting right here, Julia?
She is 15, but we've been in those schools since we moved to the area when she was 6. So we've gone through all the schools now.
So you have a good idea of what's going on in the world of a 15-year-old, a 10-year-old, and from your own children and also from talking to parents. I think that's excellent information to be able to be of service to buyers and sellers. Just saying. It
is very, very useful. I'll tell you, when I, talk to my buyers about the schools, I have firsthand knowledge of how they work, how great the, parent-teacher organizations are there, how much support they get, how the PTO pays for, the dyslexia teacher and the this and the that and gets all the things in place to support the kids in the schools. So I love being able to share that with the parents and the buyers that I have coming into the area.
I would think there's a lot of events that you're at, too, with your children and other meetings that are called upon at the school. How often, and here we are, I'm doing the radio show, talking to people all the time, and for the last, I forget, year and a half or so, market has just been crazy. Mm-hmm. But there are people out there that aren't tuned in at all. So my question is, as you are out there in the school, with the general population, we'll call it. How often does someone say, well, Joey, what's the market like? And then you report to them. But how many people do you run to that don't realize that it's blazing as it is in this crazy way?
Well, I think the availability of information is so vast right now that it's kind of hard to not. It's news stories all the time I see about the crazy market, the bidding wars. So most people are aware that it's happening in general, but what they want to know when they ask me is what's happening in my neighborhood, in my, micro area, because that may be happening in the Heights or whatever, but is that also happening in Memorial? And is it happening now over Christmas? And I tell them, yes. I mean, we're still seeing bidding wars in January, and typically this is the slow time in the market. And it really just comes down to demand, and there's not enough supply of houses. So I tell people who are still thinking of selling, and you've stayed on the fence last year, it is time to get off that fence and sell. And I also have some ways that I help my sellers who are afraid to get off the fence because they don't know where they're going to go. I help them find a house and put their house on the market and not be homeless in between. So we do things called leasebacks and things like that so we can bridge that gap for them so they can sell their house and maybe they're downsizing, upsizing, or whatever they're doing, but they don't have to be homeless for that time period where they haven't found a house.
Yeah, you better know
but
where
that
you're
scares
going.
people.
Well, yeah,
yes,
it would.
Yes, yeah.
I wouldn't feel comfortable selling my house unless I knew I'm going to this place,
right.
Wherever it is.
And if you need the money out of the house you're in order to buy the house you're going to, it complicates things. So we have things in place that we can help with that.
And this is why people should use a real estate professional
Absolutely.
right now, more than ever, from a negotiating standpoint, from a being able to jump these extra hurdles that are now in front of us. Yeah, it's great we can sell our house pretty quick by and large. Still, it does bring other challenges on board. So the real estate professional is very important in these times. As we have about a minute or so left in this segment, Joey Morley, what else do you want people to know?
Well, that working with someone in the Memorial area when you're looking in the Memorial area is very, very helpful because, like you said, the school knowledge, the area knowledge, you get all of that with them that really helps them get that house. And I will say in this market, both buying and selling, working with a realtor helps you to get through those bidding wars and those things that you're going to come up against where you need to know the tips and techniques to win that bidding war because it's not always the cash buyer that gets the deal. You can tweak an offer and do those things. And that's what I like to do for my clients. I like to help them. I call them chicken exits throughout the contract. So I write these contracts to really benefit them. And that's something that working with a realtor can help them do.
On the selling end, how many out of the last 10 sellers have you helped? How many of them are leaving Texas, if any?
None of mine left Texas. Everybody's coming to Texas.
Well, I know. That's why I asked the question.
Yes.
So then out of all, then the flip side, out of the last 10 buyers, how many are coming from outside of Texas?
One. I just have one right now that's coming from outside of Texas. And this is a neurosurgeon who's coming from Virginia, who's coming to Texas to work in our medical center. Because we have a fantastic medical center here. So
indeed we do. Joey Morley with Meadows Property Group. Let's tell people how they can reach out to you.
They can go to my website at www.joimorley.com, or they can email me at joi@joeymorley.com. 832-766-5647. They can text or call me at 832-766-5647.
Either of those places they could find the newsletter and get that, because I enjoy mine every Friday. It's part of my routine. Joey Morley with Meadows Property Group. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Let's welcome Martha Beaudry with Boulevard Realty right there in the beautiful Heights part of Texas and part of Houston. That is Martha. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, let's tell people, Boulevard Realty's been around. We say hello to Bill Baldwin there.
Yeah.
The owner and broker at Boulevard Realty. But let's tell people a little bit about Boulevard Realty in case they haven't heard.
Boulevard Realty is a boutique real estate office in the Heights. One of the things I love about this particular brokerage is how much we support the community. We really do. We really support the community. We believe in helping the businesses in the area and being an advocate for, whatever the community needs.
Well, and when you say that, too, as far as a community that is unique in so many ways, the Heights, and if you're listening from outside of the Houston area, the Heights is a unique little spot in Houston inside the loop, almost very close to the city of Houston, Texas. So there's a lot going on. prices are going through the roof. Let's talk about the market in the Heights right now.
It's pretty crazy. The nice thing about the Heights is it's kind of the diversity of the properties. Most of them are, you've got your historic districts, but a lot of the homes are bungalows or they're the Victorian style.
Lots of porches.
Lots of porches. Everyone loves porches.
Well, it is kind of a nice thing, and I think I'm just going to guess, but when people move from other places in Houston, suburbs, or wherever, they like to get a porch there in the Heights, don't they?
And we have a lot of new construction coming in, too. That's you'll see new construction all over. Yeah, the prices are definitely going crazy. It's a very popular area for its walkability, for the mom and pop shops, for all the little, charm that the area offers.
I haven't been through there. You're making me want to take a drive over there. I haven't been for a while, but a lot of new businesses, stores, and those things, not to mention restaurants.
Oh, yeah. I mean, our food section is really good. I mean, I used to, go to Montrose all the time for food. Now I go right into the Heights.
So you live in the Heights?
I actually live in Northside Village. I built a house over there, and so it's on the other side of 45. But I serve the Heights as a realtor as well as the surrounding areas.
Also, the office Boulevard Realty. What street's it on, by the way?
Studwood.
So it's right there in the heart of the Heights.
It is, right there close to 11th Street. You can walk to all kinds of cool places from the office.
Well, it is a unique community, one that is sought after. As far as the price point of the Heights or price points, let's say someone, I don't know, can you buy anything for $500?
Oh, yeah, you can.
All right, what can I get for $500?
Okay, for $500, you can get a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, updated bungalow. It'll be a bungalow, a remodeled home. If you want
$500,
new,
but I'm in the Heights.
You're in the Heights. You can still get that with the 5,000 square foot lot.
You know what I'm thinking? I buy it at $500. A year from now, I might sell it for $600.
Yeah, it's possible.
No guarantee.
No guarantees. No. I mean, to get up to $600, you do need a 3rd bedroom, and then if you want new construction, you're looking at $1 million.
That's
at
what
least.
I was going to say.
At least. I can't even say it's more like now 1.4.
Really?
Yeah. It's up there. I mean, construction prices are going up.
All right. You mentioned new construction. What kind of new construction is being built? Again, the price point you're saying new construction's over $1 million or $1 million. Maybe
yeah, it's going to be over $1 million. I mean, now it's like, 1.5. It's going to be a little over 2,400 square feet. It's going to have more than likely 3 bedrooms, 3 full baths. The construction style can be mixed with a lot of the farmhouse look. It's very popular in the Heights with the vertical siding instead of the horizontal siding. You see it now vertically done, which is really nice. You might see mixed mediums where you'll have a rock veneer with the vertical siding and maybe a little bit of a little bit of metal roof or something. But it's really nice.
Sounds charming. So when you have people that you're serving buyers, let's take the buyers. When you have buyers coming in that have not moved from the Heights, one part of the Heights to the other, when they're coming into the Heights from somewhere else, where are they coming from? Out of 10 buyers?
I would say, a lot of them are first-time home buyers that I've been working with coming out of rentals, and they're ready to buy their first home. So
they're somewhere else in Houston, and,
yes.
and they're ready. What about out-of-state people? You see many of them?
No, I haven't had very many out-of-state people. And interestingly, I know that with your previous realtor, you were talking about people leaving. I actually had 2 sellers leaving the state. One was an expat. Was
back to another country?
Moving out. Yeah, he was moving and working in Uzbekistan, I believe. And then the other one was actually being relocated to California, and they were doctors.
So he got his U-Haul rate at a low rate, in fact, because they say there's some kind of crazy $3,000 to get the U-Haul from California to Houston, $50 to get it back, or some kind of crazy scenario. So connecting to this unique community, I found you, got to know you through Facebook, and you had dog pictures posted. One in particular caught my eye, and many other people. Her name is Petaluma.
Petaluma.
And she was in distress. You took her in. So let's tell people how you're helping dogs, I guess mostly dogs, how you're helping dogs and how you connect your real estate world into the dog world.
So, I'd mentioned earlier I live in Northside Village. And
where's that, by the way?
That is, it's between Patton and Cavalcade.
Near the 45-ish?
45, east of 45. And in my community, we do have a lot of stray and abandoned animals, and it's
so sad.
Believe me, I have been brought to tears in the middle of the street just out of complete frustration from the whole thing. So I became a foster for a group called Rescued Pets Movement, RPM. And this is my way of being able to contribute to this problem, is to be able to be a place where they can put these dogs for a brief moment of time, and then they're sent to a state where they need more dogs, like Colorado or Virginia, or sometimes they go up to Canada, Chicago, and California. So Petaluma was a dog that was posted by this movement during the week of Thanksgiving, and they were begging a foster to take her. And she was a dog that was completely covered in mange from head to toe. She was losing all of her fur, and she was completely shut down. She had no hope left in her. She had nothing left in her. No fight, no nothing. And I knew I had the perfect setup for her. I have a very quiet space for her. And I offered to take her in and help her transition from this horrible state to a point where she would be ready to go to Colorado and then hopefully, be adopted soon.
By good people.
Oh, yes.
Well,
I'll tell
as you
she was
describe her,
amazing.
I'm picturing the picture right now. The first time I saw her,
Mm-hmm.
I watched subsequent pictures as she was rejuvenated. Because that very first picture, she had zero fur.
Yeah,
I mean,
none.
it was just like, it was strange looking. No, just her skin
And the little patches.
and the sadness in her eye. I mean, where's the Kleenex right now?
So, I mean, she did have some fur patches, but they were falling off as her skin was recovering. And, the rescue movement, they gave me everything I needed. They gave me the food that she needed, the medicine, and everything else. So all I did was provide her the space, provide her the love, and all the support that she needed to be able to come out.
Just curious about Petaluma in particular. From
Sure.
the day, how long did you have her?
I got her November the 24th, and she transported December the 28th. So 4
it's a
weeks.
short time. So in that 4 weeks time, from the temperament and personality, as you said, she had no hope. And it's funny, dogs, that's why we love them so much, because their emotions mirror ours in so many ways. So from the time, personality-wise, she went to Colorado. Was there a difference? Gigantic?
Yeah, huge. Her head, she wouldn't hold her head up. I mean, I was like, come on, honey, you get that head up and you hold it up high. She would just keep it down, and she wanted to be invisible. I mean, she did not want me to even look at her. So that first day that I had her, I would just go sit next to her box, and I'd put my hand on her back and just sit there for maybe 30 minutes, just enough to let her know everything is okay and you're safe.
You may have been the first kind human she encountered in her life.
Yeah, I had
That's
no
sad.
idea. And, and I really had no idea as she was coming out what her triggers would be. That was, I was a little nervous about that, because as you're, because you have to be slow about introducing them to whatever you're going to introduce them to. And so I have dogs, and I needed to introduce her to my dogs at one point, and I just had no idea if there was going to be a trigger in there. There were, during the time that I had her, there were no triggers. And even with her food, she was not afraid of anybody taking her food away. So when my dogs would circle her while she was eating, she would
was
not.
okay.
There was no aggression. She amazed me every step of the way.
So, as an ongoing basis, Petaluma, we hope the best for her.
Oh, yes.
And maybe she's listening on the internet with her new owner. I hope so. But sounds like you do this on an ongoing basis.
I do.
So
I
there's
do.
always a dog or so that you're helping. And
I have two right
who's
now.
with you right now?
I have two Labrador puppies. They are the devil spawn. I'll tell you. Labrador
Both of them?
puppies. Oh, and they're girls. They're two little girls.
Mischievous.
They have this room to themselves. These ones have not even graduated to the upstairs. They're down there. And it sounds like they are either moving furniture or doing construction. But I have a camera in the room, so I'm able to check in and make sure they're okay. But I think somebody needs to warn Colorado that they're coming.
So, well, the other thing that you said that's interesting to me and hopeful is that there are places where there's not a lot of dogs.
That's right.
So there is your group, and let's tell people again, the group is called what?
Rescued Pets Movement, also known as RPM.
Now, I'm showing Martha a picture of my little dog.
Aw.
That's Elvis, and he was homeless 8 years ago, and Elvis was picked up off the street, and he's been with me ever since.
Oh, I love dogs. They're just amazing.
My girlfriend at the time found Elvis, and I already had a dog, and I says, look, I already have one dog. I don't want two, but I'll watch him one night. So here we are. I've got Elvis, and I'm in between girlfriends. Let's just say that. But I think that the dogs that you help, I think he knows that he was in a bad way, and he's so happy. I mean,
I think so too.
I mean, they're so interesting.
There was, we are able to see what rescue groups they go to when they go to Colorado. And I saw a post that somebody had made of a dog that was being adopted, and they said, these dogs seem to know when they're going home. Their whole personality changes. They're excited. They just seem to know that this is the moment. This is the time I'm going home today.
Well, again, I told people at the beginning of the show, this is show 412, and I will tell you this, not everybody, but most people like dogs, love dogs even. And I would say realtors might even love them a little bit more, because in all these shows that we've done, whether we've talked about a dog on the air or not, many times during our break, in the meeting before the show, somebody brings up dogs. Next thing you know, we're talking about dogs. They're super awesome. We're talking with Martha Beaudry with Boulevard Realty, connecting to the community in many ways, but helping dogs, and that's a super thing. What's on the horizon for helping the dogs in real estate?
So
2022.
The word on the street is that we're kind of looking at more of the same in inventory moving forward. At least in the inner loop area, we're probably looking at 3-month inventory. And then, but with the mortgage rates going up, prices are probably going to stabilize. It's going to continue to be a seller's market.
Well, I'll tell you this. If I had a home in the Heights with a porch, I'd have 2 dogs with me right there and maybe a brand new girlfriend. Martha, let's tell people how they would reach out to you.
So you can reach me at my website at marthabeaudry.com, or my phone number is 832-724-6597. Google that, and you'll find all sorts of ways to reach me. 832-724-6597. That is correct.
And if someone wants to help an animal, the group is called, and how do they reach them?
Rescued Pets Movement. And there are all sorts of ways that you can get involved. You don't necessarily have to foster. They need people, for example, who will take
probably.
Dog food or supplies, or somebody who can transport from bark to RPM.
There you go. Martha, thank you for being on the show. Give her a call at 832-724-6597. If I could had a dog here to bark, that's how we'd close it, right, Martha?
Yes, whether they've got 2 feet or 4, I'm helping them find a new home.
There you go. Thanks for being on the show. Let's welcome Stephanie Cribbs. She is with Southern Style Realty right here on AM 950 KPRC. Hey, Stephanie, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bill. Thanks for having me.
Well, we want to thank right off the bat Jeremy Williams, who is an author, was on the show a couple of weeks ago. He reached out to me a week later, and he says, you need to talk to Stephanie Cribbs, and here you are.
I am, yeah. Thank you, Jeremy, for introducing us.
See that? And he's a regular listener. So, Jeremy, we appreciate that. And, Stephanie, let's tell people your company is called Southern Style Realty. Let's hear a little bit about the company.
Yeah, so it is a boutique broker. We're primarily in the northeast suburb of Houston area. So the address is actually New Caney. But the great thing about it is you can pretty much work wherever you want to in the Houston area. And so I'm in Spring, and that's where I work. I work out of my house, out of my office, in my house. So that's where the broker's located.
In Spring, Texas. There you go. Another blazing market. All our markets, It seems like. Let's tell people what's going on. And those that are listening outside of Houston, let's tell them about Spring. Where is it? And what's the market like right now for real estate?
Yeah, so I am located off the newer part of Spring, on the 99, Grand Parkway 99 and Rayford Road area. So I'm right down the road from ExxonMobil, HP, lots of, big companies out in the Woodlands. So we have a ton of relocation out there. So we've got people moving in and out of Texas constantly where I'm at. So the market is very interesting. I'm in a very transient area. Just like the other two had said, we're predicted to have very low inventory. Rates are going up. They're still going to be historically low. When people hear rates going up, they're saying they probably won't go too much above 4, which is still really good, right? So even though they're going to go up, I think the next one's predicted to go up in March. It's still going to be historically low. So I could go on and on about that. But so inventory's going to be low. And it's still supposed to be about the same as it was last year.
It's unbelievable. What's interesting is that every year it seems like when June comes around, I'm like, that's the halfway point almost. I mean, look, where has the year gone? But I'm going to guess in your where you live and serve, 99 plays an important role. How often are you on 99? And that's I don't know if it's not interstate. It's a toll road for those listening outside of Houston.
The Grand Parkway.
The Grand Parkway,
yeah.
Right.
Every day.
So you're on it all the time.
Yeah. I live right off of it.
And that's a great thing for all these areas in Houston West. And what I think about when I go up and down there is I look to the left and right, and I look at the land, and in 50% of the cases, something's being built, and many times it's something massive.
Yeah, lots of
Like
development.
there's an Amazon thing, a big Federal Express.
Yeah, it's right down the road from me. Yeah, I mean, Grand Parkway goes all the way down to Sugar Land, up to where I am. I mean, it's a great a great tollway to have right where you're at. So
It really changed things out there, didn't it?
yeah, I can get to Austin in 2.5 hours, where it used to take me 3.5 because I had to go through Houston to get there.
So we talk about here on this show, at least this edition, we're talking about connecting to the community. And once again, as I talk with Jeremy and you're on the show, turns out you too are reaching the community in a certain way, one that is a complement to your life and what you do as far as health and fitness. So yeah, you're going into the health and fitness world. Let's tell people about that.
Yeah, so just first want to say I really, when I started real estate, I'd only lived in Houston for about a year, so I really wasn't connected. I didn't have a great network here. So I kind of had to start from the ground up. And so a couple years into that, I started doing events, and that's been my leeway into like connecting with the community, meeting people in person. And so as that came along, me and my husband started a health and fitness journey about 2 years ago. I lost 90 pounds. He lost 100. And
Whoa!
we're like gym junkies now. We love it. I mean, that's kind of our thing and what we're passionate about. And through that, we've just met so many people in that industry and world that has opened us up to opportunities that we wouldn't have had if we kind of didn't, bridge the health and fitness to real estate. So
well, give us an idea. First of all, it's one thing to be a little overweight where you're trying to knock back 4 pounds, 3 pounds. You're talking about 90 pounds for yourself and 100 for your husband. That must take an enormous amount of discipline, iron will, and many other things. What is that like? How long did it take, by the way?
It's an ongoing process, so I'm still not where I want to be, but it took me about 1.5 years. It was quicker for him because he's a man. I mean, let's be honest, it's always easier for a man, but it was an amazing process just because we did it together. And
Maybe that was an advantage, right?
It was, and it was life-changing. I can't even begin to talk about the benefits of it.
How did you keep your mind set? Because the temptations, I'm at the grocery store the other day. I haven't bought Oreos for a long time, but there I saw them, vanilla Oreos, and they're on sale. So, boom, they're in my cart. Now, I'm eating an Oreo every time I pass by where I store them. Mm-hmm. Not a lot, but like one at a time. But it takes discipline to fight off temptations. How did you do it? When you saw something you wanted and you knew it's like, hey, I'm on this goal to get this weight off, what'd you do?
Yeah, to be honest, the way that I was able to wrap my head around it was really just having very small goals instead of saying, all right, I need to go lose 100 pounds, let's start. I mean, that's like so overwhelming, right? So having these small goals of like, okay, my first goal is to lose 10 pounds, right? It's much easier to wrap your mind around something like that than the big picture. And so I think just knowing that what I needed to do to get there, I was able to like fight off those cravings or temptations and really kind of understand, am I really hungry, or is this like mind hunger? Like I'm bored, or I'm stressed out, or I want a big listing, and I want to go celebrate, and I want to eat a bunch of food, like it's really like food plays a big emotional part in the way that we eat. And so kind of learning about that in yourself and why you're overeating or why you're grabbing certain things really can help with, overcoming those cravings and temptations.
Well, you got several elements too. It's what we're going to eat, what we're not going to eat, whatever our genetics are, who knows that, hereditary. However, then you have the other component, which is exercise.
Yes.
And that's very important. One thing I've done is I've always exercised, not in a gym or hours long, but I do a little bit every day for decades now. I think that helps. However, tell us about exercise in your world and the role it's played.
Yeah, so probably about 9 months into our weight loss journey, we decided, okay, you get to a point where it's like the weight starts coming off slower, and it's like, what do we want to do now? You want to get your body into shape, because we weren't exercising at all. We were just doing calorie deficits. So we started with the personal trainer, and from there just learned how to work out. It's very overwhelming to even know where to start. It's like, you can walk outside and walk for 20 minutes, but it's like, okay, how do I build muscle? How do I burn fat? Those things are confusing. So we got a trainer, and we basically still have one. We both train with them twice a week, and then we do HIIT classes and stuff like that. But when we started out, it was very low key. It was like, okay, I just want to go in and do like 20 minutes on the elliptical today. If I can do that, I don't care what I burn. I mean, there's no pressure, right? It's just I did it. I went, I did it. And so it wasn't like I needed to go like run 5,000 miles. It was these slow little steps. And then as you gradually meet those, you can, you want more and you get bigger and your goals get bigger. And so that's kind of how we started. And now we love it. I mean, we both work out about 4 or 5 days a week.
Well, one thing I find too, again, not doing heroic exercises like you and your husband, I do a little bit, but I find just that movement in the walking just helps my mind. Other than if it's burning calories or not, it helps my mind. Now, you have an event coming up too. Let's tell people about that. It's a health and fitness event that's coming up in February?
Yeah, so we're sponsoring the Health and Fitness Expo that we're putting on. It's going to be held at the Thicket and Harmony, which is in spring. And so we're going to have about 10 vendors there. Just the handful that I can say is Camp Gladiator, F45, My Protein Grill. It's going to be mixed up of a bunch of like health companies and fitness vendors. And so
I like the name of these health companies, Gladiator and Fire, it's nothing like I'm going to sit on my couch company or I'm going to no. Yeah. It's all high energy.
Yeah.
Let's go get it. Yeah.
So they're going to do some mini exercise classes, which is fun. You can come try them out. They're going to have we're going to have kids yoga. And then we're going to be Stretch Lab is going to be out there doing free stretching throughout the 4 hours of the event. Tons of free prizes.
So it's called again the
Health and Fitness Expo.
And if someone wants to go, can anybody go?
Anyone can go. It's free to the public, and so there's nothing that you have to pay to get in.
Is there a website, or how can they find out?
Yeah, so you can find information about that on my website, which is www.stephaniecribbs.com. Also on Facebook, we have the Health and Fitness Expo event that you can find that as well to find out more information about it.
And I want to say this, your husband's probably listening to the show. Congratulations to him on the weight loss and the team effort you're doing. What's his name, by the way?
Jamie Cribbs.
Jamie Cribbs. 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 There used to be a show, I think it was on MTV, Cribbs. Sometimes people call their house their crib. You know that, right?
Yeah. Me and my husband have flipped homes, and our LLC was Flipping Cribs.
Flipping Cribs. Look at that.
He fixes homes up, and he calls it fixing your cribs. So we got all sorts of fun with the last name.
The fun with that, too, is people could remember it without having to figure out how to spell it. Cribbs. Selling cribs, Stephanie Cribbs, Southern Style Realty. It all works together harmoniously
Yep.
So, before we close the segment, 30 seconds, what else do you want people to know?
So, just want to remind everyone about the Health and Fitness Expo on February the 19th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's going to be located at 3811 Everly Bend Drive, Spring 77386. It's free. It's open to the public. For more information, you can contact me at 832-777-8671 or my website, stephaniecribbs.com.
What if someone needs a new crib?
Call me at that phone number and go to my website. I'm also on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram.
That's right. You can call Stephanie at 832-777-8671. Thank you, Stephanie, for being on the show, and thank you, Jeremy, for telling us about her.
Thank you, Bill.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner Stewart Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Captain. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Did you bring the Oreos?
I did. They're as soon as we're done with the show, you can have some.
They're the carrot and the stick.
Carrot
in my
and
case,
stick.
the Oreos.
And they are the vanilla ones.
Oh,
so.
I love that. So, insurance. Everybody loves insurance. The special segment, the icing, or the icing in the middle of the Oreo. However you want to look at it. What should we talk about today?
Well, let's talk about education today. So, as we've mentioned on the show in the past, that There are three ways that Stewart Insurance works to help our clients and prospective clients. We help them in their growing their business through activities like the Real Estate Matters radio show. We provide them, risk minimization through the insurance plans that we help them build. But we also provide education for the realtors and brokers, property managers, title and attorney agents and their teams. So today I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the educational avenues that we provide our clients and prospective clients.
That's right. And on that note, yes, this radio station or this radio show is part of that education process. The fact that it's on the website and can be accessed at any time, any show, that's also a help. But every now and then you're out there at brokers and doing things remotely, helping people with the education as well.
Absolutely. So there's a couple of ways we can help from an educational perspective beyond what you learn every week on Real Estate Matters. The first way is that we have CE classes that we are certified to teach in the state of Texas for real estate brokers and their teams. One is called Real Estate Liability, Reduce Your Risks and Protect Your License. And that teaches real estate professionals about the factors that lead to professional liability claims. How do you avoid those and what kind of insurance plans can help offset those exposures? So, what are some potential situations that could cause a suit? What are the factors that increase the risks that are out there? And that's a 3-hour class that we offer. The second one is Property Insurance Essentials for Real Estate Professionals. And that's a 2-hour class, and it provides real estate professionals insight into the real estate transactions from an insurance perspective. So it looks at the differences between residential insurance policies and discovers how home buying and selling decisions can impact insurance. So there are kind of 6 stages that an insurance company will look at real estate. So everything from the homeowner all the way to a vacant lot. So how do all those, different types of insurance or different types of real estate, how can they be insured? And what are the elements of those policies that you ought to consider? So that's a great one for any number of folks within the industry. And then the last one is Two Sides of Water. And it defines the two sides of water and the importance of knowing both when it comes to insurance. It looks at both homeowners and flood insurance. So insurance companies look at water damage 2 ways. There's water damage that can happen within the home, and that's usually covered or can be covered, is a better way to put it, by your home policy. And then there's flood damage or water damage that comes from outside the home. Rising water is often considered, but that's a flood policy. And there are specific intricacies about both, and we cover that within that class.
Well, that's the interesting thing is that water is so important. We have water that's in our pipes at any given time. Plumbing, remember last year?
Yes.
February's coming up. A lot of broken pipes last year. So you have that water that's built up, ready to be opened by faucets or maybe by apparel. And then, of course, rising water, that's another thing. So water can be, as much as it's essential to our lives and conveniences, boy, if it gets out of control, that's damage and there's a problem.
Absolutely. It's important to understand where that coverage can come from. And it's also important to be able then to convey that to your clients so that they have an understanding as they're going through the process of buying a home, or even if they're selling a home. At some point, they've got to replace that home. What are the types of things that they need to look at and consider? We can take those classes if you don't want it as a CE, or if it's an industry that we're not eligible to provide CE credits for. That doesn't mean that we still can't teach that class. I'm going to be teaching the Real Estate Liability, Reduce Your Risk and Protect Your License in Pennsylvania in a couple of months. And I don't have a license to teach CE classes there, but I'm still going to teach the class. Is it
going to be a Zoom thing?
It's going to be Zoom. Exactly right. Exactly right. And that's a great point. On our CE classes, within the state of Texas, I can do them in person or I can do them online as long as everybody's live.
Out of the classes that you mentioned here today, John, is there one that's more popular than the others, or how does that work?
Of the 3, there's the 2 that are the most popular, the Two Sides of Water. As you can imagine, being in the greater Houston area, water damage is an issue for us on a regular basis, but also the Property Insurance Essentials, because that really provides a great overall overview of how an insurance company looks at real estate. And coming out of those, we've added some things that we can help folks with on a regular basis. So in this past year, I've done 4 or 5 classes for first-time home buyers, and they've been as short as 10 minutes. just some really basic things to take a look at, and they've been as long as 45 minutes. I've been invited to a local brokerage just to kind of give their new agents an overview about the different types of insurance that their clients might come across and might need. And I'm working with a property management firm right now on a couple of classes that could be provided to their vendors as well as their owners. So the owners that they work with that own this property that rent it out, what are the kind of coverages as a property owner should they consider? So, we work with our clients and prospective clients across the board to be creative in educational tools that will help them.
Well, also, we know many real estate professionals right here in Houston listen to the show, but also far beyond. But if there's anyone right here in Houston, let's say a real estate broker like Boulevard Realty or any of these others, if they wanted to have you in to teach these classes, what's involved with that?
Well, it's quite easy. They could reach out to me at 866-798-2827, or they can email me at stewartinsurance@stewart.com and just ask for some more information about the CE class. I'll get with them directly. We can set up a time. We can make sure that we understand the focus that we want to have. For example, I'm teaching the real property insurance essentials at the end of the month, and the folks that are hosting it have asked that I spend a few minutes talking about some of the changes in flood coverage. So we'll make sure that that's part of that class coming up.
That's always top of mind for the Houstonians
Yes,
that
it
have
is.
been here
Yes,
for
it
years.
is.
And guess what? If you just moved here and you didn't know about it, be aware, have flood insurance. We recommend that all the time because you just never know. And, of course, flood insurance, people at Stewart Insurance, you're providing insurance, home policies, flood insurance policies, watercraft policies, auto, all those things. So people can simply get any sorts of insurance, not to mention broker E&O, cyber liability policies. The list goes on. And that list is at stewartinsurance.com. But they can always call you at
866-798-2827. You're right, Bill. As a independent insurance broker owned by Stewart Title, we work with a variety of companies both on the personal line, so helping families and individuals with their insurance needs, as well as a variety of companies on the business side, working with real estate professionals, property managers, real estate brokers, title and attorney agents on their coverage.
And not to mention getting the word out for the last 412 weekends in a magnificent way. And I'm going to guess, I don't know the answer to this, but I am going to guess of all the insurance companies out there, Stewart Insurance is the only one that has a radio show now that I think about it.
Well, and we're definitely the only one that has one on 950 KPRC at 5 o'clock on Sundays.
Real Texas, real talk, as they say, right?
Absolutely.
No doubt about that. Well, before we close the segment, John, what else do you want people to know?
Well, if you'd like to be properly insured, whether it's your real estate business or as an individual, that's our mission and goal. We want to be the insurance resource for real estate. So you can reach us at 866-798-2827. You can email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com. Or if you'd like to learn more about the firm, visit us at stewartinsurance.com.
And if you're listening here in Houston and you just moved to Houston, I saw a Massachusetts license plate the other day. I love seeing all these new license plates. You want insurance, Stewart Insurance. It's right here. You can call John at
866-798-2827.
No matter where you're at in the United States, you can get insurance with Stewart
That's right.
Insurance.
Whether you're Massachusetts or North Dakota or
you may move back, you still may want the
New Caney,
insurance.
Texas.
Even New Caney. Thank you, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance. The number again is
866-798-2827.
And as we're winding up the show, we're bringing everybody back almost right here. Joey Morley is here. She is with Meadows Property Group. Joey, before we close the show, what else should people know?
Well, they can subscribe to my Friday 5 newsletter at my website at www.joeymorley.com. And you were discussing vanilla Oreos earlier, so I have to mention, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that my daughter Julia, who's with me today, is a senior Girl Scout. So she's going for her Gold Award this year, which is a really big deal. It's like the equivalent of getting an Eagle Scout in the Cub Scouts. But they are also starting their Girl Scout cookie sales. So we are really progressive. Now we have an app. People can order online. You can direct ship. You can still buy them, though, at the grocery store from the tables that people set up.
So if I buy cookies from a Girl Scout, do they get
Yes.
credit for that?
Yes,
How's
they
that
do.
work?
Well, what happens is
They
a
get
portion of the
commission,
sales.
like
They don't get commission, no, sir. But a portion of the sales goes to that troop, and they use it for trips and camping and
Fun
continued
learning.
education.
There
Mhm.
you go.
Yeah.
That's like a CE
Goes
class,
back
but
into
you
the
get some
community.
cookies
Yes.
for a worthy cause. Joey, how can people reach you?
They can reach me at my phone number, 832-766-5647. They can text or call me, 832-766-5647, or go to my website, www.joeymorley.com.
And I mean, that's a suggestion for John Bramlett. He should have cookies at his CE classes. Maybe he'll incorporate that next. Thank you,
Yes.
Joey, for being on the show.
Thank you.
Here she is, Martha Beaudry with Boulevard Realty. Martha, as we close down, a lot of homes to sell, a lot of buyers to serve, and a lot of dogs to help too. So let's tell people, what else do you want them to know?
Yeah, so it's not uncommon if you are seeking to buy a house and you have a dog and you are looking for a house to make your dog happy. I've had several clients that have been looking for something specifically for their dog. Maybe you don't want stairs. Maybe you need a large yard. Maybe you need something special or unique for the
Dogs are part of the family.
They are. They
No doubt
are.
about
You would
that.
not believe how many people out there I have helped who are literally looking for a house or something specifically for
And not
Junior or Fido or Buddy.
Not only that, the real estate professional has to be knowledgeable in so many areas. So you're going to have a lot of people say, hey, well, where's the best place to get the dog
Yes.
food?
Dog
Who's a
parks.
good vet? Where's the dog? All those things. But people can reach you, Martha Beaudry with Boulevard Realty. How do they reach you?
They can reach me at my phone number, 832-724-6597. My website is marthabeaudry.com. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram.
And that's Beaudry.
That is.
Facebook, no doubt about it. Martha, the phone number is?
832-724-6597.
And thanks for being on the show. Here she is, Stephanie Cribbs with Southern Style. I like that, Southern Style Realty. Stephanie, before we close things down, what else do you want people to know?
I just wanted to let everyone know that my husband and I formed a health and fitness Facebook group about 5 months ago. And so it's a great opportunity for people to join and just inspire people. We have meetups. We actually, a group of us just ran in the Houston Marathon 5K on Saturday, which was fun. We're also going to be forming a group to run at the Woodlands Marathon 5K in February. So you can not work out at all and be a part of the group. We inspire, we share food, recipes, all sorts of fun stuff. It's just a great little community.
And that sounds great. And of course, buyers and sellers can seek your services out as well.
Absolutely, they can.
See, I knew, if you were helping me with real estate, I know I'd be asking you a lot of health and fitness questions. Just saying, how can people reach you, Stephanie Cribbs?
By phone, 832-777-8671. You can also find me on my website, stephaniecribbs.com. I'm all over social media. You can find me there as well.
Okay, and the number again is?
832-777-8671.
Cribs. I like that. I'm going
Yes,
to go
sir.
back to my crib after the show. And thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Knapik, together with John Bramlett, Tom Carpentier, Larry Warren. Everybody at Stewart Insurance and Stewart Title, all our business development people. Justin Ramirez, our new sales manager. Congratulations once again, Justin. And again, you can hear and see this show by going to stewart.com/radio. That's stewart.com/radio. Thank you for listening. Tell your friends, and we'll see you next week. Stewart.com/radio. Stewart.com/radio.